Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my channel. Today we're fighting the F-18C Hornet against the Gripen C mod. This is the JAS 39 Gripen mod. It's based on the VSN model, but it's updated, upgraded, whatever you want to say. Now, I do love this mod, and I love this aircraft in real life. Before we get into it too much, I am going to talk about the aircraft a little bit and the mod. I'm going to throw out some disclaimers real quick. But essentially, I'm fighting in the Hornet against the Gripen, and then I switch and I fight the Gripen against the Hornet. And we're not going to learn anything about how these aircraft compare in real life from this video, and I'll explain why. What we will learn is that this mod is much easier to fly than a full fidelity module. That's about the only thing we're going to learn. The flight model isn't super updated or super accurate. It's a really simple flight model. I'm not knocking the mod. I love the mod, and I think that they're continuing to work on it. So we may see a better flight model that we can have a higher level of confidence in later on. But for right now, there's no comparison. This is not a super realistic flight model, and thus we can't draw any real-world comparisons out of this video or any other video where the Gripen's being compared to something else, which is basically the first caveat I want to throw out. You can't take this video to mean anything in real life. And I've seen some other videos using this mod that kind of seem to be working under the assumption that we can check in the sim and figure out if this particular plane in real life was any good or not, or we can compare it to other planes in the sim and figure out how they would do in real life. And if you see videos like that, I'm not saying don't watch them, and I'm not trying to knock any YouTube channels, but it's kind of clickbaity. Take it with a grain of salt, watch it for entertainment purposes only, but realize that you can't draw any real-world conclusions from it. You can't tell if something could have historically happened for real or not. You can't tell how this aircraft compares against another aircraft in real life. So with that being said, let's talk about these aircraft a little bit. We have the Gripen C, F-18C Hornet, F-16C Viper, and a Block 2 JF-17 Thunder. I'm not going through all of the data, but what we can see in short is that the Gripen is the smallest. The Hornet's the biggest. The Viper is really efficient at utilizing its size and weight to carry stuff. It could actually carry an empty Hornet on its belly. It could carry one of each of the, or not one of each. It could carry all of these aircraft on its belly. Of course, the Hornet could too. It could carry. Shoot, it could carry two of the Gripen. Or the Thunder for that matter. But the Thunder weighs less, but it's a bigger aircraft, and it can't carry as much. So the Gripen's pretty efficient too. That doesn't really matter for dogfighting. What we're really kind of looking at is thrust to weight ratio and wing loading and stuff like that. But again, these are all in very specific configurations. So this is all on paper. It's theory only. It kind of gives you a look into how the aircraft performs in real life, but it's not the whole story. There's a lot more to it than all of this stuff. So one thing I do want to point out, and I don't know if this is true, but if there's anybody out there who's flown a Gripen in real life and can talk about it, I would love to know how this thing handles at various speeds and kind of what the general idea is. You know, is it sluggish at slow speed? Is it really good at fast speed? Is it really good at slow speed? You know, how does it perform? My impression has always been that delta wing forward canards are really efficient at creating lift, and obviously this thing has a lot of wing area for its size. It's the second most wing area out of all of these, but it's the smallest and at least really close to the lightest. It's not the lightest, but really close. So it's really good apparently at making lift. And I think that at high speeds, it probably performs really well. At medium speeds, I would suspect it performs really well. My question is really about slow speed, because I think that delta wings don't perform quite as well at slow speed as a conventional aircraft. They do have the forward canard to help, and that's all contributing to lift, where in a conventional aircraft, that stabilator at the back is usually pushing air down But on a Delta Wing, any flaps or slats that it has that might deploy at low speeds, they're pushed further back. And because of CG issues, I would assume they are less efficient. And therefore, I would assume that the Gripen doesn't perform as well at slow speeds as something like the Hornet. But what you'll find in the video we're about to watch is that it performs quite well at slow speeds, and it performs quite well at high speeds, and it gains energy really quickly and it loses energy really slowly. Now, the last thing I'm going to say before we get into the video about this, what you're about to see, my pilot skills aren't great, and so some of the differences I'm seeing are the effects of me not flying the plane properly, and not making the right moves. But I fought against the Gripen 6 times, and I only beat it twice by running it out of fuel. I did get bullets into it once, but it came back and killed me. It killed me another time, and I crashed another time. And I can't remember what happened the other time, but I didn't beat it. I never actually shot it and destroyed it. I could only run it out of fuel. When I switched and I got in the Gripen and fought the Hornet, it was easy. It was a super easy fight. Let's see. This video is going to be a touch long just because of what I'm trying to show. And again, it's not going to give us any real world kind of data at all. And I'm also trying a different thing. I'm going to show the TAC view, but you're going to see the camera view from DCS played real time, kind of in the corner. I'm going to try that and see how that works, just to try to get the cinematics, give us all the view, but also not eat up a ton of time. So with that, let's get into it. Okay, here we go, and I'm going to have to play this TAC view back at a 1:1 scale, or at 1x, I should say, because I'm queuing it up with the video. So I can't back up or slow down or anything like that, watch something again. So I'm just going to try to talk about some key points while we're watching it, and it'll just stay synced up with the camera views. So I built up a lot of speed. The AI doesn't usually build up that much speed. So anyway, I went vertical. Try to trade some of that speed out, and then I turned really hard, so I burned off a decent amount of energy here, but still in good shape. Of course, he came in the turns inside my turn circle because he was going slower, and then I pulled really hard. Now, one thing that kind of bugs me about this flight model is that he was able to just really keep climbing to the point that he got above my original, which isn't impossible. It isn't impossible. It just seemed like wow, he got way up there despite the fact that he wasn't in burner and wasn't really going that fast. He did lose a lot of energy though, so. But the net result is that we come down on about the same level, and because I was turning harder, and because of the flight model differences, I think I've got a lot less energy than he does, and I'm already kind of in a little bit of a death spiral. So how much of that is me being a poor pilot and how much of it is the flight model? I don't know. I can't answer that question. So I'm death spiraling down. I'm not in bad position, but I couldn't, my energy's back to being pretty good, but I just couldn't really capitalize on it and get around on a 6. I think if I would have handled that a little better back there, I probably well, not probably, I could have possibly gotten a shot off. Maybe. I don't really know. But again, here I'm in good position, but he's just going too fast, so he's pulling away from me. And now I'm down here at the base of my climb without any energy, and it's gone already. So one thing, now look at that turn radius. I can't turn out of my driveway in my car that's at that speed. I got to be going faster than that just to get out of my drive. Not really, but I was going really slow there. I think it got down to 55 knots. So So I couldn't really do anything, you know, position-wise I was okay, I just had no energy to do anything with. So I think what I'm doing is I'm over-controlling the aircraft, which I have a tendency to do. Part of that is because it's difficult even with track IR to keep situational awareness all around you. So you're constantly trying to keep track of the target, keep track of your attitude, the attitude of your plane, keep track of your speed, keep track of any mountains around you and things like that. So it gets a little difficult, which it would be difficult in real life too, I have to assume. So now he's in a better position, and I'm trying to basically doing a yo-yo or a scissors kind of thing. I'm not doing it very well. I was trying to get more vertical so I could trade out my my airspeed for altitude and vice versa a little bit more, but I just didn't do a very good job of it. So I'm reversing my turns. I think my timings are a little bit off. I still need to work on timing my reversals a little better. There I got pretty vertical. So I'm still working under the assumption that the Hornet can do better at slow speed than the Gripen. It doesn't seem to be panning out for me, so it's working slowly. It's working slowly. But by the time I get him to do a true overshoot, I have no energy left. So he's still in the yo-yo though right now. So we're kind of neutral there. I just really cranked that one around though, and it's like the AI instantly knew that I was cranking hard, so it didn't, and it gained a bunch of energy really quickly, and then it climbed. So I had, again, very little energy at the base of my climb. So once again, here we are. So I'm doing a good job, maybe not good, that may not be the right word, but I'm not getting shot at. So that's a plus. Just not able to really capitalize. Here he starts extending basically, so I don't have the energy to go around the loop, so I have to pull over the top, and then the plane just, like, I couldn't not turn that tight. The plane just kind of falls nose down once I go over the top, which is kind of fun. Like it starts really turning, you know, as you come over the top. But here I tried to go a little bit horizontal to take away some turning room from him, and also try not to burn off too much of my energy. And then I did a really heavy lead turn, which was dangerous. I turned in front of him, lost sight of him, because that's what happens when you do that. And then also you can potentially give away a snapshot there. I like lead turns because they can give you some really good advantages, but in this particular fight I just was never able to capitalize on it. I did it a couple of times at least. So here, not bad. A flight path overshoot, but and so he's gonna kind of climb, sort of reverse. Energy wise, I'm in decent shape. Got my snapshot off, but it went behind him. In the sim it looked like it hit, or not in the sim, in TAC view I zoomed in earlier looking at it, and it looked like it hit him, but it didn't. I did not get any bullets in him in this fight. So I like that position, but it didn't work out, and here we are again. In this case I do have more energy, and I probably should have been more patient here. I tried to take it all in one turn, so I bled my energy off, and here we are again, you know. So maybe if I would have done that a little differently and tried to maintain my energy a little better, that probably would have been good. I just haven't been able to figure out how to be efficient with my energy use. I think I said this in one of the previous videos, where I feel like I'm to the point where I'm not getting any better. I'm not that good, and I'm not getting any better. And there's gonna be, I hope and I think, based on other life experiences I've had, that there's gonna come a point where something clicks, and I instantly, like, or nearly instantly, I just really improve a lot really quickly because something finally clicks, and then I'll hit another wall, more than likely. But that happens in life, and so I guess this is life lesson time with Max, I suppose. You know, usually there's a learning curve to everything, and as you go up the learning curve, it's pretty exciting, but most of us hit a spot where the learning becomes very difficult. And you'll notice he's kind of on my 6 o'clock now. This isn't the position I want to be in. I've let him get back in the offensive position. So now I'm going to yo-yo again a little bit. It didn't really work as well as I wanted it to the last time, but I have more altitude here. And so I'm going to try to, well, I'm not anymore. I'm really going vertical here. I'm trying to point down to maintain my energy, because essentially what I want is to get in behind him, this time with more energy comparable to his. It doesn't work, but that's what I was trying to do, something a little different and time things differently so I could have energy and come around on him. But yeah, like, you know, as you're going up the learning curve, everybody always hits a spot, no matter what it is, where the learning gets more difficult and it's no longer fun. And in terms of DCS, I hit that with the A10, where I learned how to start it up, and I learned a lot about the HUD and the different targeting modes and the different weapons and things like that. And I thought that I was really progressing, and then I just got to a point where situational awareness was a trick, and I just wasn't good enough at the controls to really put, you know, for instance, to put Mavericks on target. So I spent a long time just doing LGBs, basically. I was doing GBU 12s almost exclusively, and then doing gun runs, which was fun, but I kept getting dejected because every time I tried Mavericks, they failed on me. And I kept losing targets in the TGP and stuff like that. And then, you know, I don't remember what happened, but I just got enough time and experience in that, you know, I still remember my first Maverick kill. And then months later, I still remember the time that I got 2 Maverick kills on moving tanks on the same pass. It was a big day, you know. So just keep that in mind if you're learning anything. Just keep in mind that you're going to hit a point where it's hard and it's not fun anymore. And if you can power through that, something's going to click, and you're going to make a lot of progress really fast, and then you're going to hit another difficult spot. And you know, I think the higher up the learning curve you get, the more difficult the difficult spots get, the harder it is to improve. So keep that in mind. But let's get back to the fight now that Dad's done talking. He bailed out right there. It was more of the same stuff, just going high, low, just turning, trying not to get shot, trying to get position, but I never could get position. I never could make it happen. When I did get position, I didn't have the energy to do anything with the position, and so that's the way the fights have been going. And then I flew back and landed just because I wanted to practice landing, and I was really happy that I won. Okay, here we are in the Gripen fighting the Hornet. Now, I may not have said this in the last video. I accidentally left the Gripen on Veteran when I was fighting it, and I usually don't have any problems at all with AI Veterans. But in this case, with the Gripen, couldn't do it. Now, the Hornet is definitely on Ace AI. This is kind of like the F-15 in the way the HUD works and everything, and it took me a minute to remember how the F-15 worked. So I was kind of pointed off to the side there. I didn't go very slow, or very fast, I mean. So my half loop here was really small. The Hornet's going up above me, kind of a role reversal from before. Then I turned horizontally to try to maintain some of my energy a little bit and still get the nose around. I should point out too that when I was fighting against the Gripen, he did not use his afterburner the entire time. I was in the F-18 and I was in burner pretty much constantly. So you know, that means something in the comparison that I'm making between these two modules, or the module and the mod. Anyway, I pointed my nose down to try to maintain energy but turn really hard, and then I'm doing it again here. I'm basically trying to get an angle on the Hornet without losing all of my energy, and it basically worked. So there we have it. I'm in position. There's shots they hit. We did, oh, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 turns, and this guy's dead. And I just kept pumping bullets into him. So this is the biggest piece of evidence I have to suggest that this flight model is oversimplified, because I was able to go up against the Hornet, which is not a shabby dogfighter. The Hornet is not bad at all, and I was able to go up against it in my first fight, fumbling a little bit with the controls, trying to remember. In fact, I had to reset a bunch of I started flying it and I forgot to reset the key bindings or whatever, the control bindings, and so I had to go in as I was flying and reset them. And you know, and anyway, like, first fight, and I was able to just destroy the F-18. It wasn't even close. So but then in the F-18 I fought 6 fights and never could honestly beat the Gripen. Now, the Gripen may be better than the F-18 in real life. It might be. I don't think it's that much better. I don't think it's so lopsided. So, essentially, if pilot skill is even, I think that it's going to be a fairly even match, with the advantage going one way or the other based on conditions, or if which pilot messes up first or whatever. Here in the sim, you know, that's in real life. Here in the sim, if I were flying this mod against someone at my skill level or near my skill level, and they were in a full fidelity module like the F-18, I think I could beat them 9 times out of 10, if not 10. And if the roles are reversed, I don't think I'd be able to beat them if they were in this and I were in something else. So, so that's all to say. It was fun. It was a blast. The module's great. I think this module is a really cool module. It looks great. I hope they keep improving it, because I do love the Gripen. I think it's a great airplane, and I'd love to study it a little bit more. But currently, if there's any videos out there trying to make real-world claims using this mod or any other mod that's has a similar kind of a flight model, I don't think they can make any real-world claims. I don't think you can draw any conclusions about what's going on in real life based on these mods. It's dangerous enough doing that with full fidelity modules, because they're not real and the conditions aren't real, so it's dangerous enough whenever we try to draw real-world conclusions from those. But in terms of mods, have fun with it. You know, enjoy the videos for entertainment purposes, but let's be really careful with what we try to say about the aircraft in real life based on them. So I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was meaningful or helpful, even if we can't study this as a real aircraft. But it's fun as always, and I will catch you guys again on the next video. Thanks.